They've snatched and they've stolen. And with more people shopping online this year,
with the pandemic and people losing their jobs, we've seen a heightened activity in crime.
Porch Pirates are ready.
We love the neighborhood and, we want to protect it and keep it safe.
A community is now banding together to fight back against these thieves.
Plus, he thought it was the right move, an unemployed Coloradan deferring his mortgage payments.
I freaked out.
Well, tonight, the mix-up that almost cost him his home, and now he's contacting Denver7 with a message for you.
They are out to take people's home. They're out to foreclose them.
And backcountry snowboarders on the hook for tens of thousands of dollars for triggering an avalanche. Why they're fighting the fines.
Avalanches are not uncommon in the backcountry.
They're everywhere. Porch pirates all over the metro are already targeting their next home. And this year, of course, because of the pandemic, fewer of us are venturing out to stores and instead ordering online.
So that means your shopping list is already a target for a porch pirate. This year in Denver, more than 1,000 porch thefts have been reported to police. That's compared to about 800 reports made in total last year. And in Aurora, we've already seen more than 570 cases of people stealing items from the front of people's homes.
And if you've been a victim, you are certainly not alone. Listen to this. 36% of Americans have reported a package stolen in the last year. And one organization analyzed Google search volume for the words package theft since the pandemic began. Denver ranked 18th in the nation for highest search volume. So clearly, porch pirates are on a mission here.
And here's something you may not know. The Colorado Division of Insurance is reminding Coloradans that once that package hits your doorstep, it is technically considered personal property, which means it could be covered under your homeowner's or renter's insurance.
So we're not sure which items were in the boxes snatched from the home in West Wash Park there. Either way, remember your deductible. If it's a small, maybe less expensive item, it might not be worth going through your insurance. But those big ticket items, say jewelry, electronics, they could have a higher value than your deductible. So check your insurance policy if you are a victim.
Of course, porch piracy is getting so bad in one Denver neighborhood. Residents are taking matters into their own hands.
And now they're coming together to stand up to these thieves. And Denver7's Jason Grenauer has that story.
Sunnyside's great. It's up and coming neighborhood. It's one of the hottest neighborhoods in Denver as far as real estate goes.
Rick Cole and his family have called Sunnyside home for 10 years, and they love it. But
the but is the heightened activity and crime that we've seen in the last few months.
That includes porch pirates.
This year, because everybody's ordering everything online because of the situation that we're in, that activity is significantly increased.
And harassment of women.
They're being followed, they're being asked strange questions, and then, the women feel a sense of, something's not right here, and they'll take a different path, and then that vehicle will continue to follow them.
Wanting his family and his neighbors to simply feel safer,
I had the idea of let's start our own neighborhood watch for Sunnyside.
His next door post about it had over a dozen interested neighbors in just a day.
We're not trying to become a vigilante group. We're just want to be the eyes and an extension of the eyes and ears for the police in our neighborhood.
It's still in the development stage, but could include walking patrols and even bright-colored shirts.
Porch pirates, they see a bunch of people walking around in bright-colored shirts, and the word gets out. They're going to know who those people are and that they're being watched.
The simple idea to keep a more watchful eye out, just organized a bit to benefit the whole neighborhood.
We want a safe community. We want to feel free to walk our community and know that we're not going to be harassed or not that we're going to have our property stolen.
In Sunnyside, I'm Jason Grenauer, Denver7.
And now that holiday season is officially underway, you better believe we're going to continue our annual tradition of shaming porch pirates. So please send us your videos of these brazen thieves taking your packages. Contact 7 at thedenverchannel.com. We will induct them into our Porch Pirate Hall of Shame, put their faces out there, and hope that they get caught. Also, very quickly here, take a good look at this Grinch, also captured on Ring cameras. But his mission in parts of the metro is a little bit different. People are actually glad to see him sneaking around. So stick around. We'll have that story coming up.
So just as we heard over the Thanksgiving holiday, the CDC is urging all of us to avoid travel this Christmas holiday. COVID cases are increasing, hospitalizations are at a record high, the number of deaths spiking. So for those of you who do decide to travel, the CDC is now recommending travelers get tested for COVID before and after their trips. You should get a test 1 to 3 days before travel, and another 3 to 5 days after travel. Plus, once you return, eliminate those non-essential activities until you know you're in the clear. And if you don't get a test, You should stay home as much as possible for 10 days after your travels.
Weld County has the 6th highest number of cases among Colorado counties, and as Weld County businesses navigate state guidelines, there is frustration, also some confusion over the county's response. Longmont City Council voted to prepare a resolution to put pressure on Weld County to follow COVID-19 health orders. We visited a brew pub in Weld County that is following current restrictions. Collision Brewing Company suspended indoor dining, but the owner says some people are still wondering why the dining room's closed.
We're stuck right in the middle because we have, two different bodies going against each other and trying to make everything work. As we've been following every single guideline, we're being punished.
Some restaurants defied health orders and remained open. They were warned by state liquor enforcement and could have their licenses revoked. Now, here's the good news. Recent state inspections found most businesses are doing their part in following these new COVID restrictions. Of the 200+ businesses surveyed by the Colorado Department of Revenue, just 2 were not in compliance. And even though local health departments are usually in charge of enforcing the rules in their jurisdictions, the state does get involved if it comes to the potential suspension of certain licenses or a cease and desist order.
The legislature's special session is over. 10 bills were passed, including 8 Democrat priority bills. So they're now on their way to the governor's desk. And one of the bills that passed provides $20 million for the state to help expand broadband access for students and educators. The goal is to make remote learning accessible to everyone. Another provides $45 million for relief for child care centers, for expanding their programs and training so they can stay open and allow parents to work. A third bill designates $5 million to food pantries to purchase healthy food for struggling families or buy more refrigerators. Now, lawmakers say these bills won't solve everything, but they're a start.
This is a bridge to relief. This is a bridge until we come back in January and do more for Colorado.
When we get down to this, I don't think that the money will be out the door by Christmas. I think that that's one of the challenges we always have in a bureaucracy, is making sure that it moves quickly. And I think actually that in this case, it's going to move as fast as it can. It's just not fast enough.
Bills for small business relief, housing and utility assistance, and sales tax relief also passed. And we have more details right now on the denverchannel.com.
Well, as you know, families all over the state are feeling the impact of this pandemic. When a Littleton homeowner lost his job, he had to defer mortgage payments until he got back on his feet.
And it has been a major headache ever since. And at one point, he thought his entire family was going to lose their home.
As Denver7's Gary Brode reports tonight, they're contacting Denver7 with a warning for you.
After losing his job in March due to the pandemic, Lyndon Reynoso's luck was starting to turn.
I had received an offer from a job and that I was going to start working in November.
That meant Reynoso could start making his mortgage payments after nearly 8 months of forbearance, a program through the CARES Act that allows mortgage payments to be deferred to a later date.
My biggest message is, just be careful with what your banks are telling you as far as what the forbearance plan is. In my eyes, in my experience, forbearance equals foreclosure.
Forbearance began for the Reynosos in March.
There was no information ever provided to us other than they would address it once forbearance ended.
The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau recommends asking your mortgage lender how the skip payments will need to be paid back before agreeing to forbearance. Reynoso said they never had that conversation, so when the time came to start paying back what was owed, he was shocked to find out they wanted most of it right away.
She said, well, you would need to send 4 payments for your past mortgage that you haven't paid. And then you would have to pay for the month of November. So that's a total of 5 payments.
He owed $23,000 within 60 days.
And I said to her, I don't understand. If I'm in hardship, how are you requesting 5 payments? It doesn't make any sense.
To make it worse, his December statement showed not only a late fee, but also a fee for a physical inspection of the property.
And that person explained to me that they were checking to see if the home was vacated. And I said, well, why would you check if the house has been vacated? I live here. I've been trying to make payments, and you guys are not accepting my payments. And she said, well, we were checking to see if it was vacated because this is the start of a foreclosure process.
Fearing his family would be kicked out, the Reynosos went to extreme measures, like borrowing from family and selling what they could, including stocks and furniture. His wife even sold her engagement ring to get back in good standing.
Not easy at all to know that that's something that someone should have for life. You would find yourself hearing her say that the sacrifice of having a warm house is more important than having a ring on her finger.
We made several attempts to reach Shell Point Mortgage for comment, but have not heard back. The state tells us there are programs available to aid in mortgage and rent payments. We put more information up on our website. Head over to thedenverchannel.com. For Denver7, I'm Gary Brode.
2 snowboarders accused of triggering an avalanche back in March are on the hook for nearly $170,000, and now they're fighting back. Evan Hannibal and Tyler DeWitt are facing charges of reckless endangerment, accused of starting this slide near the Eisenhower Tunnel. Fortunately, no one was hurt. But when the two went to hand over their GoPro video to the Colorado Avalanche Information Center, thinking it would be used for research purposes, they say the video was then handed off to investigators.
CAIC has been an asset in the backcountry for years since they started. They're an enormous help to keeping the backcountry safe. At no point did I ever think that it would be held against me, let alone lead to criminal charges.
According to the avalanche report, the snow buried a 400-foot stretch of a service road and destroyed an avalanche control unit. We reached out to the Colorado Avalanche Information Center for comment, and we're still waiting to hear back.
The state's largest school district just tapped Senior Deputy Superintendent Dwight Jones as the interim superintendent of DPS. Susanna Cordoba announced her resignation last month to take a job in Dallas. Jones will lead the district through July.